Hey everybody, we are live for the first Zennie62 Media, Zennie62 on YouTube, 2026 NFL Draft, 2026 NFL Mock Draft. And we present introducing the resident NFL Draft expert of long tenure, my longtime friend Bill Carroll at the bottom, although he's never at the bottom. And in the middle, my new friend, Greg Rector, not to be confused with the Rector.
That's right.
And yours truly at the top waving, although I'm not always on the top. So we are going to start in order where the person making the first pick is the person at the bottom. That's Bill. I go number 2. Greg knows number 3. And then we start the process all over again. We're going to be using this, as you can see right in this over here. We've got the Pro Football Network's NFL Mock Draft Simulator, which we set to use. And I'm going to press the selection. It will appear here, and we'll go there. They can even be proposed trades. I don't know. Let me say, we didn't discuss this in depth before I hit the start button, but I will ask. Hey, are we going to use the trades? Is any one of you going to want to use that?
The only caveat I would throw in about trades is that it not reset the clock, right? So if we establish the clock is 3 minutes or 4 or whatever in the first round, and then if we do it in the second round, it's 3 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever in the second, and 2 minutes or 1 minute or whatever in the third, that trades don't change that. So if you want to do a trade, you got to get it in before the clock expires. That's the only thing I would say, because having done many mocks.
Yes.
The one thing that ends up slowing them way down is a lot of back and forth about a trade.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
And unlike other sites, you don't use players involved in these trades. It is strictly just done on picks for 2026, 2027. Okay. Right. So that's why I like this site. It also will pop up the Rich Hill numbers as well, so that people can understand the trade value that's involved as well. Mm-hmm. And this does not have a clock. We're not on a clock. We can just discuss the picks and away we go.
And we're doing round 1, yes?
Yep. We're doing round 1.
Singularly. Okay. With that, I welcome everybody to this mock draft held in Fayette County, Georgia, as well as Seattle, Washington, as well as Chicago, Illinois. Greg, you're in Seattle, right?
No, I'm actually up in Calgary, Canada.
Yeah, Calgary.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
He is in the area, one of my favorite prime ministers, and I'm also, well, not me, but my company is on the prime minister's press list. So,
Mark Carney.
Viva la Mark Carney.
He's actually from Edmonton.
I'm sorry?
He was actually raised in Edmonton.
He's an Edmontonian by
he was born up in the Northwest Territories, but he was raised up in Edmonton. So,
and hey, welcome. We're getting viewers. Hey, everybody, please don't forget the thumbs up. And also, there's one adjustment I need to make before we continue further, because it is something that I need to do related to this program. And that's turn on the monetization. Okay? So we can get something and split it out of this, if you will. And so that only takes a moment. And in fact, we are. Put that down there. Put this, push this down. Yeah, here we go. And then I have to go down here to edit video. Allow me to do that. It's very slow today. There it is. Edit video. And by the way, folks, this is not only on YouTube, it's also on Twitter and Facebook simultaneously. A simulcast. So, all right, we got that and monetization. That. Hurry up, system respond. And okay, it's on automatically. Ah, that's a twist. Used to not do that. But YouTube heard my cries. Okay. All right. So that's a good thing. And I will tweet this out to make sure that it is automatically tweeted out the YouTube version. And then properly tagged here. We can go back that way. And you know what, folks? I'll just here it is. Okay, here it is. Someone has a cold. It is opening. There it is. And it's taking a bit more time to render than I would prefer. Hurry, 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 hurry. There it is. Now it's rendering. Share. Thumbs up here. Share here. And it's opening. There's the Twitter window. Share in a post. It says create post on X. And there it is. That's weird, but I'll go with it in the interest of time. This is supposed to take only a few seconds. Get this new system. All right, got it. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. And hashtag NFL. There. NFL. Okay. And post. Got it.
All right.
All right. So that's out there. And
Mr. Bill.
Oh, one moment. We've got that. One moment, and we've got that. And now I am close that. Now I am free to say the NFL draft will commence with the Raiders on the clock. The Raiders have the first pick in the first 2026 NFL mock draft on Zennie62 YouTube. Bill Carroll.
Yeah. This is one of those where, despite the attempts by some to create some sort of intrigue or suspense or what have you, there will be no suspense. There will be no intrigue. This will be the one that everyone gets right on their mock draft. Not just reasonably talented, but literally presidential, right? I mean, that's the term you hear people use when they try to describe Fernando Mendoza. Presence is a term you'll hear people throw around, that he has tremendous natural leadership. But most importantly, he has the kind of poise that will allow him to get through the bumps and slumps that rookie quarterbacks have. And you've seen how even some very talented rookie quarterbacks takes a while to navigate that. We saw Sam Darnold, who was very famously quoted at one point talking about, quote unquote, seeing ghosts out there, rebound from that eventually, 3 teams later, and hoist the Lombardi trophy. But the thing about a guy like Fernando Mendoza is I believe his story arc will be a little more predictable and a little more closer to a straight line, heading gradually upwards. And the Raiders, of course, have had a need at this position since they moved on from Derek Carr. This is, Derek Dallas Carr was, beloved by some, disliked by others, and some were just sort of meh. But however you felt, they had a steady, somebody who held that position steady for almost a decade, and now they can have that again. So, yes, once again, it's Fernando Mendoza.
What I like about Fernando, because I had the pleasure of watching him at Cal, and the
as did we all.
The will to win.
Yeah.
Really came through I think, in the big game. And in particular, a just incredible 98-yard drive that he engineered, where he had one point, a 4th and 8 that he completed, and almost, wow, it looked like he was about to get sacked, and he just jumped out of there and threw it fast. What I like about that drive is it wasn't pretty. There are a lot of reasons why it should not have happened.
Yep.
But all those reasons had an answer, and that answer was Fernando Mendoza. And for Cal alums, Cal students, that solidified that we had a quarterback.
Right.
And everybody, that's our quarterback. He had already been our quarterback earlier. He'd already been our quarterback when we should have been. We should have beat Miami. Okay.
Right.
We were cheated out of that by ACC refs. But Fernando he always wore his heart on his sleeve. And I believe that this elevation toward Indiana was for his mother and the money he was offering that Cal couldn't match, because he loved Cal. There was no, I do not question his love for Cal at all. Yeah, and I get it. There's no reason why we shouldn't have our act together in this area of life, but that's another story that we can discuss for hours.
He also went to Indiana because his younger brother is also a quarterback at Indiana. So Signetti already had his younger brother in tow.
Yeah, correct.
Mr. Mendoza said, "Okay, I'll play with my younger brother." So,
see, here's the thing about it. It was the controversy, though, Greg, for us. Okay, is we were under the impression that he wanted to go to Miami and be near his mother. That's what he told a bunch of people. So no one saw Indiana coming among Cal, and there are still Cal alums really pissed about that. That's why I made the point of saying he'll always be a Cal bear to me, because I get it, okay? But there are some Cal alums. I'm talking about some people who have a lot more money than I do. That to this day are like, hey, we put a lot of money into you. And this is what the quote is: we put a lot of money into you, and you bailed on us.
Yep.
You know,
but that's the world of the NIL world that we live in now. Get over it. Get over it, because Texas Tech bought themselves a huge roster last year. They were the number one team in NIL.
Right, and Greg, that's right. My point is, you were saying it's the world we live in. Get over it. My point is, we need to play the game.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the whole deal. Cal has enough money. If you want to compete with those other big boys, you've got enough money to do it. So
one thing you have to understand about Cal is that, or you don't have to, but is we've been ruled by a sort of a 1920s Anglo favored rule or set of rules that basically says, hey, look, ideally we shouldn't be paying you at all. You should be getting A's in school and either competing for the Olympics or winning national championships without us having to give you a bunch of resources.
Right.
Now, everybody here knows that's old, but that's the way a lot of Cal alums have thought.
Yep.
Even to this day. Okay.
Yeah.
And that explains a lot of why we've been very slow to get involved in this. And the issue that I have, and I haven't blogged about it, but I think I will, or vlogged about it, but I will. If you have a university that has this great program as we have, why don't we create our own drink for our athletes, right? Why don't we create our own type of football scheme based on our analysis? But why don't we do it in the Berkeley way? It's the one thing that we haven't looked at football like we look at other professions. And I think if we did, we could be unstoppable. I really believe that.
Yeah. Well, that's up to every individual school, right?
Yep.
But Greg, we're not talking about just any school. We're talking about the school that invented the atomic bomb.
Well, I mean, they had part and
And-
parcel in the
and-
atomic bomb.
No,
But again-
no.
but again,
As did
You're
University of
Also-
Chicago,
also-
as did
That's
also-
right. University of Chicago was very involved in the bomb. I mean, it was.
not to Cal, not the extent Cal was.
No,
Cal-
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
But
But
I'm
Cal
saying-
was.
No, but I'm saying this, and I'm going to hit home. Cal was then in the 30s and still is now the American home of theoretical physics and arguably the top theoretical physics school in the world to this
Sure.
day. All right.
Sure.
We even have a particle that's named after us. So my
Yeah.
point is that we can put that same kind of scientific analysis into football, and we haven't done it.
No,
But I don't want to hear this about the University of Chicago or anybody else with respect to the bomb. I mean, you want to read about our involvement? Read.
No, I've read. I know this
we
involvement.
are. I promise, we are familiar with.
612
We are very familiar
So
with
wait,
Cal
so you
University.
read all 612 pages of it? It didn't matter of J. Robert Oppenheimer. 612. I
Yep.
have.
Yep.
You read the whole thing.
Yep, I've read the entire thing.
Okay, so if you read the whole entire thing, then shame on you for not crediting Calvin's position.
No, I didn't.
No
I
no
don't-
one took anything away from Cal, Zennie. I know you're sensitive for whatever reason about
That's
this.
right.
We all acknowledged Cal's involvement. Nobody said anything else.
But there were other universities involved in the development of the bomb. That's all I.
Not to the extent of Cal.
No, but no, I just said there were other
We all-
universities. That's all.
We're all aware.
And that's why
We
I
have
say
now-
what I say, because
We have now spent
y'all could have just
4.5 minutes
You could've
of a
just
mock
said, "Go
draft
Bears."
on this.
You could, yeah, you just say "Go Bears"
Oh God!
and beat Stanford.
I've never been a Bears fan, so I'm sorry, but
Aha,
okay,
the truth comes out.
there you go.
Yeah,
But again-
I am. I'm an alum.
Yeah.
I was on the alumni. Hey, Greg, you don't know this. I was on the alumni board for 7 years.
Yep. Well, there you have it. Pick
Exactly.
number 2 belongs to the New York
Yes,
Jets.
here we go.
All right. Now, Jeremiah Love, I'm sending the Giants because this man is the kind of incredible talent the Giants need.
The Jets.
The Jets need to build an offense that takes them to the Super Bowl. And I really believe that this man could be that engine that does that. And so the Jets need that anchor. It would really solidify everything you do on offense, also in defense too. But I love the idea of Jeremiah Love with the Jets. I really do.
Well, that they're known as just end the season for a reason. But hey, if that's the pick that you've got for the Jets, that's fine and dandy by me. I will go with Arvell Reese for the Cardinals then.
There you go. Arvell Reese. And pick number 4, Mr.
Bill.
Yep.
I couldn't say it, Bill. I'm sorry.
No problem. And this is one of those places where scheme, need, and the talent all kind of find their way. The Titans lost almost all of their best pass rushers very, very recently in the last couple of years. David Bailey, while he's not for every scheme, he's going to a situation where they use essentially the stand up, the person who both stands up and rushes with their hand in the dirt. And they were seeing that what we used to call drop end back in the old days, right? Somebody who's stands up at times and then he is that player. He is that player who finds that mismatch, and you just sort of move him around to find that mismatch, that person who can't block him. Might be a tight end on one play, might be a tackle on another. You might have him play essentially as an outside linebacker in almost like a 3-4 and have him take on either the open end, right, the open side where he's now got a jump on a tackle who's got to open up and try to get to him, or once again, as I said, go attack a tight end. And good luck with, no offense to most of the tight ends in the NFL, but good luck with having them block David Bailey. So yeah, that is a great fit for where need, scheme, and talent all fit.
And now we're coming to the New York Giants, which comes to me.
Yep.
And I believe, having watched the Giants a bunch of times, that they really need Jordan Tyson. I really like the idea of him in that system, considering what I think Mr. Harbaugh is going to do with respect to his new ball control / attack passing game. Also like him as a blocker. So Jordan Tyson for the Giants.
Okay. So I have the Browns. This is an interesting spot because, I mean, the Browns defense is loaded already. They are loaded. Deshaun Watson apparently is the number one quarterback for this year to begin the season. That's according to Garofalo from the NFL Network and others, that Deshaun Watson is going to be the quarterback. Mr. Shador, I run backwards only. Sanders is not the number one quarterback.
That's too bad.
Well, again, like I said last year when everybody was criticizing me in our first mock draft where I said Shador was going to be down in this draft, no, he's going to be a first-round pick. No, he wasn't. He was not a first-round quarterback last year. He is not playing at the NFL level currently. He needs time to develop because he doesn't understand how to step up in a pocket. He only goes backwards. That's not the way that you play in the NFL. You have to.
I disagree with that. I disagree with it.
No, in this day and age, Drake May learned it from year 1 to year 2. He learned
that. Drake May learned it because he was taught. Look.
But that's the thing.
Mike Vrabel took these guys aside.
Yes.
He knew that Drake. Okay, but no one did that with Shador. They spent time playing games with Shador.
That's right.
We should have a separate show on that.
But this is the whole thing. This is the whole thing about.
I'm happy to have a discussion, but Greg, I 100% disagree with what you're saying.
You need to be able to.
As much as I love you, I disagree.
You need to step up in the pocket in the NFL.
Of course you do, but how are you going to step up in the pocket when, first of all, you shouldn't be putting a guy in a position where
he should not have been playing last year. He should not have had to play.
Greg, they're using the wrong technique in terms of blocking. That was the problem, okay?
Yep.
All right? No, you say, yeah. Stop right there. If you agree with me using the wrong technique in terms of blocking, then why the heck would you ask him to step up when he's going to get killed?
Because
think about what you're saying, man.
You have to step up in the NFL and take those hits.
Greg, you just said you agree with me that they didn't have the right blocking technique. And that was a trap, okay?
Because the main
problem, the main problem that they have was they don't understand how to have a lineman attack early to basically blunt the leverage of the defensive lineman, okay?
But that's why
that teaching skill goes all the way back to Dan Ricavovich, Pittsburgh Steelers, all right? And my point is this. They got away with murder with lousy coaching for that fellow. And then they said, we'll have him step up. And I'm saying, wait a minute. Why don't you alter his launch point to get him out of the way? You don't put a quarterback in the position knowing doggone well your play is poorly designed. And I'm tired of these people who don't understand physics getting involved in football. Learn physics. I don't care. I'm tired of it. All right.
That's just a simple discussion, though. That's a simple discussion that we can have outside of this draft thing. All I'm saying is that
let's debate it let's make some money out of that and debate it.
Well, sure we could. But the Cleveland Browns need offensive line help.
Yes.
They also need receiver help. You have Carnell Tate, who went to Ohio State. Oh, my Lord. You have Sonny Styles, who could be a great linebacker in that defense. But you also have Noah, who is a great right tackle. I believe you have to protect your quarterback before you can be. This is why I was making the point about Sanders, okay? You have to have that line that plays in front of him well. Mauoa does that. So he's my pick for the Cleveland Browns.
I like the pick. Okay. Yep. And it comes to the Washington Commanders. Yep. And it comes to Mr. Carroll.
Yes. And the Commanders are a team that took a step back last year for a couple of different reasons. Injury played a part in it. They made, I think, a few mistakes in terms of players they chose to keep versus players they decided to move on from. Either way, they have some places to sort of pave in some holes, right? And several of the players staring them in the face on the board could help them right away. But I think the one that will find his way to Washington and will immediately have impact for that team day one is Mr. Ruben Bain Jr. There's been a lot of concern and furor and discussion about his arm length. And there have been players who are built similarly, if not exactly the same, Trent Cole being amongst them, though he has arms a little bit longer, who have managed to make it work. Now, when you are a player who is not a length player, you must be either a strength player or a player who uses the ability to get people to come to you, basically, right? We saw Almus Dumerville, despite being 5'11 and 3/4, had unusually long arms. So he had the weird advantage of making people come to him by being a shorter player and with good bend, but also have great enough arm length that when he wanted to sort of stab and get you first, he could do so. Bain has played with arms this long for his entire life. He's figured most of this out already. That's the thing I always have to try to remind people. I remember going back to the Russell Wilson controversy. It's like not like Russell Wilson went to bed 2 days ago and he was 6'2.5", and then he woke up 5'8" and 5'10" and 5/8. No, he's been this height. He was great in high school at this height. He was great at NC State at this height, and he was truly incredible at Wisconsin, all at this height. Similar with Ruben Bain. Now, there are things he still needs to work on. And obviously people bring up that game he had against Syracuse in 2024, where a frankly offensive tackle gave him the flux. He has things to work on. Guess what? Every single player in this draft does. I think he'll figure a lot of that out. And he's going to a team that knows how to coach that position, right? Yep. They have done a good job of developing defensive ends, pass rushers, whatever you want to call them, and I think he's going to fit what they do and get better.
There you have it.
There it is. Scouting report, edge 6'3", 275, Miami.
Yep.
Big scouting report there, 8.9. 89.81, I should say, rather. Edge ranked number 1. Nice job. Now we come to the Saints. I'm not going to waste any time here. Sonny Styles, I think, is they throw the term around generational, but I believe it applies to Sonny Styles. And I think he's going to really make the Saints defense a powerhouse, especially if they build around him in this draft. That's exciting. He's just sitting there for the Saints. So, yeah. Next, that comes to Mr. I hate Shador Sanders. Just I'm kidding. My brother, Greg. Mr. Rector.
Okay. That is the Kansas City Chiefs pick, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me just.
Yeah, pick number 9 is
I'm trying to make this thing move down, and finally it did. So there it is. Let me see if I can make it move down a little bit more.
All right. Yep. There's the Chiefs.
Yeah. Got it.
Now this is another weird organization because their defense took a hit.
Yep.
In their secondary, especially. Their offense, they need receivers. They did sign Kenneth Walker III as a running back. I'm gonna give them the best corner in this class, Mansur Delane.
Okay. Mansur Delane, LSU. Interesting. Now that brings us to Mr. Carroll for the Bengals.
The Bengals, similarly to the Chiefs, had a year that was very much injury marred, and they lost, once again, some of the leadership on both sides of the ball, especially off of their defense, to free agency. For those who have not seen the Bengals recently, their safety play last year was, how shall I say, it left much to be desired. As a person who played the position and loves evaluating the position, it was very difficult at times watching the Cincinnati Bengals. Even as someone who, sort of doesn't want to see the Bengals do well, I like to see safeties play well, no matter what. And it was just, you would see literally players both headed to the same direction, like both cover the same area, while the other side of the field would be just left lonely, just lonesome. They're going to get smarter and better at that position by getting Caleb Downs, who can play essentially 3 different positions. He can play close to the line of scrimmage like a strong safety would. He can play deep middle like traditional deep middle free safety, but he also has the ability to play the slot at a high level. And guess what? They can use all three of those guys in this defense, and he is all three of them. So I think it's once again one of those things where the talent level, the scheme, and the need all kind of slam into each other. This is that, and so it's a natural fit.
And it makes so much sense for the Ohio State boys. The one that I drafted to the Browns, I did not draft to the Browns. Although I could have given them, Carnell Tate,
right.
But Caleb Downs in Cincinnati makes so much more sense.
It makes. I mean, I think Cincinnati fans would be thrilled if it actually played out that way.
Yeah, exactly right.
Okay.
All right, so we got Caleb Downs going to the Cincinnati Bengals there, Benny.
Got it. Now we come to the Miami Dolphins, which brings it to me. And the Dolphins just lost Tyreek Hill, so I'm not going to waste any time. I am sending them Carnell Tate from Ohio State.
Yeah, and they also Jalen Waddle, of course, went to the Broncos as well. So they have a pretty empty wide receiver room, which will now be a little less empty.
Yep.
This draft has turned into a nightmare for the Cowboys. All those defensive guys that they wanted have been taken. Oh no. Now some people say that the Cowboys can draft an offensive player in round 1. I agree. However, I don't have anybody at pick 12 that I want on the Cowboys. So, click propose trade, please, Zennie.
Here it comes. Our first trade.
A first trade.
So select the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings, please.
Okay. All right. Well, Dallas first and then next, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the Minnesota Vikings.
Confirm. All right.
Yep.
Where you going?
All right.
Okay. You need help?
So I need pick 12.
Okay.
And I need Minnesota's pick in the first round as well.
Okay. That would be
so you go over to the other side.
And, I see right here.
Yeah. And make sure it's the 2026 draft.
That's just current 2027.
Yeah. You want the current.
Yeah, you can change it back to 2026.
No, you don't have to.
It says current, right? You went current here, right?
Yeah. And then get rid of the one that's 2027.
Yeah,
okay. And then you need the second round pick of the Vikings as well.
All right. Second round pick of the Vikings,
which is right below the one that you just clicked. No, just
below here.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Minnesota. Never. It's my first time seeing this. So yeah.
Yeah, not a problem. So click that.
Okay.
And
likely reject.
then you're going to make this trade. Go ahead.
All right. Pose and confirm. Rejected.
Minnesota does not want to give me their second round pick. Okay.
Of course not.
I'll go again. Proposed trade.
All right.
Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And select the button there again.
Yep.
Go to the Houston Texans.
Oh boy. Okay.
And again, select pick 12.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Pick the first round pick and the second round pick. And go down. Yeah, go ahead.
Rejected
again. Okay.
You're surprised? I'm not. Wow, man. Who would take that?
Okay.
Best athlete available, like the Cowboys and the Landry used to do.
But
I mean, heck with
the
the
best
Jerry Jones style.
but sometimes there's no one on your board that you would take at that point.
That's
There's nobody to have anywhere close to that value on, so you have to get out of there. Otherwise, you're driving down the talent level of your roster.
I disagree. I just look at this differently. Like I would take.
Oh, do you understand Dallas Cowboys fandom? What they went through last year alone with Tyler Booker being the 12th pick overall. They were nuts. They wanted anybody else but an offensive lineman being taken in round 1.
Right. That's why we'll take Mekhi Lemon. I mean, they don't have George Pickens, and he's running roughshod over him, and that was ridiculous to let him, get away.
No, he's there. He's on the franchise.
What am I saying?
He's on the franchise.
They still have George Pickens.
I'm saying that take Mekhi Lemon anyway, and give yourself one of the most powerful passing games to be feared in the league.
No, you know who I take? If I'm stuck here at 12 with this lineup, I will take Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end, Oregon.
I like that. Yeah, actually, it's a better. You know what? I think it's a better choice than mine. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because everybody has this misconception that Kenyon Sadiq cannot block. You didn't watch the Oregon Ducks play football.
He gives very good effort, and he has good technique. He is not the most powerful guy in the world.
No.
But his technique and his effort is, I think, both slightly above average, above the midline.
Yeah.
It's not a great blocking group of tight ends this year, but he's probably in the top 6.
Greg, you don't have to thank me for saving you from trade hell.
Well, it's just that I understand how Cowboys Nation thinks about this, and when those good defensive players were gone, and I'm looking at, okay, we don't need Mekhi Lemon, we don't need the other receivers. Jamad McCoy, we don't know his test day either, right? Because that happens on the tomorrow. It's just a hit and miss thing at that point.
It's just me personally, I would not pass on Mekhi Lemon, considering the Cowboys and their passing game style. I think he would fit like a glove.
Well, you've got Ryan Flournoy who's there.
Yeah. Okay, so next.
So the Rams are thrilled the way the board is broke. They were afraid that at least 2 of the players they're now choosing between wouldn't be there, and they're both there.
Yeah.
So this is an exciting moment for the Rams. But Monroe Freeling is one of those players that people say he's shooting up, rocketing up, whatever term, up the boards. That is not what's happening. What is happening is that the people who cover the NFL and cover the draft are now realizing what the NFL for months has thought about Monroe Freeling. He's considered and has been considered one of the top 2 or 3 potential at the left tackle position, one of the top 2 or 3 prospects in the class. There are a lot of good tackles in the class, but most of them project to the right side. Freeling is one of a handful, and there's really 1 or 2 left that really project to the left side in the whole class left. There's only maybe 3 more that might project to the left side. It's a heavy right tackle class. But Monroe Freeling is a left tackle, and the Rams are thrilled to see him. He is now joining the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
So again, your choice is?
Monroe Freeling, Georgia, offensive tackle.
Great choice. All right. So now brings us to the Baltimore Ravens at pick 14. And I am torn because I believe that the Ravens' biggest problem is on defense, not offense. And so
really, because that offensive line lost Tyler Linderbaum. They don't have a good guard either. Beside that spot,
my take on the Ravens is that they will overcome that via technique. Now, I believe again that defensively they need a stud, and so they need somebody that when I plug him in there, I believe he can make a difference. And so I know that they're bringing in Trey to strengthen their line, but I think that they need to go a little bit further than that. And so Keldrick Faulk, edge.
Okay.
I want a frightening Ravens defense, and I want one of these monsters that are coming out of the draft that are defensive monsters. I want to get one of them for the Ravens, and I just did.
Yeah, and he's one of the youngest players in the draft. He's not even legal to drink. He's still not turned 21 years of age yet.
That's right.
That's a good thing.
And everybody who doesn't understand Keldrick Falk's 2024 season, the man had 7.5 sacks in 2024. Yes, he only had 2.5 this year. It doesn't mean he doesn't get how to go to a quarterback. You need to watch film. It drives me off the deep end when people do not watch the film of these guys.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. 100%. He's the guy.
All right. So the Bucks. I will. Can you click on offense above the Bucks there, and then click the wide receiver?
Okay. Yep. Team needs edge, linebacker, defensive back, safety, offensive guard, wide receivers not listed. But
they did lose Mike Evans.
Yes,
right.
Future Hall of Famer Michael Lynn Evans no longer walking through that door.
Yeah, you're right. This is an insult to Mike Evans, eh? I mean that his loss isn't considered such that it would impact their draft.
I'm gonna give them the Ohio State wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr.
You mean Indiana?
Indiana. Sorry,
Yeah.
the Indiana.
Got it. Okay. Now that comes to the Jets, and we are back to Mr. Carroll. Mr. Bill.
Yes. Well, this is an exciting day for the Jets. Once again, the Jets were supposed to be a team that was built around defense, and then they were not. They were the only team in the NFL that did not generate a single interception. Not one. And no other team in the NFL can make that claim.
Just go back up and click all. Click all on there.
You don't need to click. Well, I guess you're going to get. I mean, I know exactly who they're taking, but yeah, when you get back there it is, Jermon McCoy. Now, you just said about having to go back, another year. You have to once again with McCoy because unfortunately he missed the end part of 2024 and all of 2025. But when you saw him on tape in 2024, you saw someone who knew how to mirror and match, had a high degree of recognition of routes, made plays on the ball consistently. For the most part, I'd say about 85% of the time, calculated correctly when.
Hey, Bill, keep talking. I got to check my mom real quick.
Calculated about 85% of the time correctly when to try to jump a route and when not to. And I think he'll get even better at it as time goes on. Once again, unfortunately, he missed, all of the past season. The fact that it took him almost 400 days to start making violent cuts and accelerating and jumping, at full effort, that's the only reason I think he's still here at this point. I think if he had, at the 8-month mark, been doing the things he was doing at the 13-month mark, he would have been gone already. He would have gone in the top 10, maybe in the top 7.
He could have been a top 5.
Maybe right. I can't rule out top 5. Right. But
if he was healthy, I would have been tempted to put him into the Arizona Cardinals instead of taking Arvell Reese. That's how good Jamar McCoy played corner in 2024.
He was the most impressive corner I saw in 2024, and he just wasn't draft eligible at that point.
Yeah.
So, it's like Darryl Stingley's sophomore year. If Darryl Stingley had been draft eligible his sophomore year,
he still would have been. Yeah, he would have been. Yeah.
He would have been a very easy top 5 selection as a sophomore.
But those are once in a generation type players. They really are.
Right. So Jamar McCoy, Jamar McCoy is a player that, while his grade isn't quite as high as Stingley's, I don't know. It'll be a while probably before I see another corner I grade that highly. He is within hailing distance. You could sort of get close enough that, and there's not another corner after this, in my opinion, who in terms of just pure man coverage skills can mirror and match and stay with receivers consistently at that same level. I think there's a bit of a gap between him and the next guy.
Yeah. All right.
So we are back to the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
We look at the needs of offensive tackle, edge, offensive guard, defensive tackle. And what my favorite defensive tackles up is in our days. I'm going to get him, and I'm going to bring him to the Lions, and that is Mr. Peter Woods. There.
Peter Woods has been highly criticized for his play this past season. This was a coaching change. There was a difference in the way that they played. The Lions would play him much more like he did in 2024.
Correct.
I highly agree with it. But can you elaborate on the coaching change and what happened there, Greg?
He was moved along the line into different spots.
Yep.
And that was the big change from 2024 to 2025. So he was actually not used correctly by the Clemson Tigers this year. And it showed. Right. It showed. The Clemson Tigers suffered this year because they decided to mess around with their defense, which had been very solid the year before. They weren't so solid last year.
Yep.
The Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. And one last quick thing. I think he spent 82% of his snaps the year previous playing classic 3 technique.
Yeah.
I think he spent no more than something like 38% of his snaps at any one position. They kept moving him.
They kept moving him.
So he played sometimes.
What was the rhyme or reason for moving him?
It was a coaching decision.
I understand, but I'm saying, what was the raison d'etre for the decision?
I'm going to guess because I don't think they ever fully explained themselves, but I'm going to guess they were trying to make up for the fact that they didn't have anyone who was a true nose type player on the roster. So they had him play like a nose at times. They had him play like a 5 or a 4-eye at times. And then he's, sometimes you go back to his more familiar 3-tech position, but I think he played as a traditional 3-tech less than 30%. I think it was around 29 point something percent of the snaps.
So you say most of the time he was out of position?
He was playing out of position almost 70% of the snaps this year, Zennie.
Poor man.
Yeah. So that's all.
He did all that without getting injured? Wow.
Yeah. But again, I mean, this is where coaching comes into play, the scheme that a team uses. Much like Tyler Linderbaum, who was an Iowa center, right? Mm-hmm. They used one type of scheme, and everybody was saying, well, the Ravens always play a different type of scheme, so he's not going to be that good of a center. That's BS. All that is coaching. Tyler Linderbaum was an excellent center. He will be for the Raiders as well. The Vikings. You just sniped my guy that I wanted to take for the Vikings, but I also, because this is either Tiananmen or the big man out of Ohio State, McDonald. I'm gonna ruin the Panthers draft. I'll take Tiananmen.
Yay! All right. Now the Panthers. That falls to you, Bill.
Yes. So the Panthers are, crestfallen, but what they will do to, somehow
now that they're unhappy.
Yes. To somehow find a way to deal with the pain, they're going to grab the younger brother of Avion Terrell.
Yeah.
And while I try not to compare, certain players to other players, it was impossible not to compare the two Terrell brothers, at least in part because they play very similarly, very similar builds. The only sort of knock is tackling. And I don't think it's effort. I think he just sort of lacks a certain amount of upper body strength, and sometimes he just gets run through. So some of the sort of more powerful wide receivers would just break through it. He sometimes would tackle at an angle that wasn't always the best, which you'd like to see. Once again, I get he's not a linebacker, but you'd like to see, hips come through and drop and then run through and wrap up. Instead, he was sort of what's called an ankle biter, right? A guy that would sort of dive down sometimes at the ball carrier, and at times they would literally just go through him or even over him. I'd like to see him stay up and run through a little bit as a tackler. Other than that, I think he's maybe the fourth best pure man corner, and he's also shown he can play in zone. He can play both zone and man at a top 3, top 4 level amongst this draft class.
All right, so now we come to go ahead, Bill.
I was just about to say, you're about to draft the Cowboys, and there's a guy that played at the University of Miami who's a Canadian who had better be your pick. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Just
all
remember that we already took a tight end.
Yes.
So again, the offense has already been touched. We're not going to take 2 offensive guys in round 1. There's no way. Not with Messidor being there. There's no way in heck that he isn't the pick for the Cowboys at 20.
No. I want Makai Lemon for the Cowboys.
He's not going to be a Cowboy.
He is under me.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. I have a tight end and a wide receiver. And I am ready
Oh,
for battle.
Lord, this is going to be a nightmare.
Oh, this will be so great. You will thank me later. Watch. Just watch watch the fantasy with this guy. Watch.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
Watch.
I understand.
I mean, I've got a wide receiver and a can't miss tight end in the first round. And if Cowboys fans aren't happy with me for for whatever reason, you know what? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Oh, hey,
okay?
Listen.
This is awesome, man.
This is the whole issue that you have with this entire draft class is that people don't understand how good Kenyon Sadiq is. They don't get how good Makai Lemon could be in the NFL. Because again, Makai Lemon, when he was given man pressure, he did not play very well against man pressure.
But you know what? I attribute that to the one-dimensional, low variety pass pattern, predictable offense at USC. Okay,
that's right. Yep.
And so,
yep.
Under a more varied system that Schottenheimer offers, although he could still do better. I'm excited to see this fellow just unleashed. And not only that, think about it. In tandem in a bunch formation with one of the best tight ends ever to come out of college. Wow. I mean, all kinds of combinations. And then,
well, Mr. Spanford, who's already a Cowboys tight end, can now stand beside Terrence Steele at all times on every passing down because Terrence does not understand how to pass block very well. And Sadiq and Jake Ferguson could be down the field. Makai Lemon could be an excellent wide receiver 3 for the Cowboys. There you have it. Dak Prescott gets 2 weapons. Don't yell at us too much.
I don't mind you yelling at me. It's okay, Cowboys fans. I'm just saying. You're gonna thank me later. Yell at me now. Thank me later. Let me now.
So the Pittsburgh Steelers are mine.
Yes. Uh-oh.
Mr. Bill, go click offense for me, please, Zennie.
You got it. Done.
And then click quarterback.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no.
And yes, the Alabama Crimson Tide take Ty Simpson. There you have it. It's over and done with. It's over. Ty Simpson is now a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Oh, my God. You know what, though? That might not be a bad pick. I really, I'm serious. I think there are times where Ty have flashes of brilliance. Just don't ask him to be the guy that saves you in the fourth quarter. Okay,
Yep.
he'll make that play that you will regret. You know,
And Bill,
wrong, but
Ty Simpson is a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett ever was.
Well, I mean, that's a very low bar to clear, but sure.
oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Ty
you now have the Chargers, Mr. Bill.
I got to take a picture of this. Hold on a second. I got to take a picture of this. No, better yet, I'll vlog it.
Yeah, do that.
Everybody, in this update, the Pittsburgh Steelers have taken Ty Simpson for the 21st pick. You can blame Greg Rector here for the decision, but then you can also blame me for sending Ty to the Cowboys. And you can also then, we're retracking, blame the great Bill Carroll here for sending Avion Terrell to the Carolina Panthers. So just giving you a bit of an update on this great first mock draft for the 2020 NFL season that starts up for the NFL annual meeting, and of course, our mock draft on the same day. All right. And subscribe to Zennie62 on YouTube and bookmark NFL News by Zennie62.com and also NFLPlayerRankings.com and also NFLBigDataBowl.com. Yeah, I own all those. I'm adding more. We're monsters. Watch out. I'll post that. All right. Next, we have Chargers at number 30. And that stick falls to the great Mr. Carroll.
Well, this could not have worked out better for the. It shouldn't have worked out this well for the Chargers, but somehow it has.
Go up and click all again, Zennie.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Got it. Bless you.
They have their pick of several very, very, very good players who either have already experienced playing on the interior of the offensive line or project to playing on the interior of the offensive line. But I truly believe that the person that fits their offensive line personality best is Oliva Vega Ione, who is a massive human being, powerful, athletic, explosive, and they still want to be a balanced offense. Even in today's, everybody being so QB-centric world and having a very talented quarterback, they still want to be a truly balanced offense. They're going to run the ball, maybe not quite 50%, but close. They'd probably be at least in the 47 to 48 percentile range. And Mr. Ione is going to help them to do that.
Yeah.
Got it. Drafted. That brings us to the Eagles. EAGLES. Eagles.
Make me throw up. Oh, what? Go ahead.
To which Greg Rector is about to go into his Drew Pearson style rant, right?
Exactly.
That was classic. You got to admit,
that was beautiful.
Yeah, the 5-time. I was press at the 2017 NFL Draft in Philadelphia when Drew went on that rant, and from our perspective, actually, I think I have that on video, but I won't bother digging it up right now. It sounded like a roar was breaking out, and we were all looking at each other like, "What the heck is going on?" And then, oh, what a memorable event! At any rate, the Eagles. Let me see what team needs are on offense: edge, offensive tackle, wide receiver, tight end, of course, safety. So, you know what? I'm not going to waste any time here. Caleb Lemieux is going to be.
There you
go. That's a no-brainer. I'm not even going to talk about it. Browns are next, and guess who gets the pick for? Guess
I
who?
do.
Yeah. Aren't you happy? Aren't you so excited?
For the second time, I have to pick for the Browns. I'll take the better Utah tackle, Spencer Fennell.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think Lomu ends up being kicked inside the guard.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to the Bears, Chicago Bears, number 25. And that brings us to Bill Carroll.
The Bears,
Appropriate enough in
when,
Chicago.
the Bears, when they are a good football team, throughout their history, has been strong right through the middle of the defense. A terrific 3-technique tackle, when they're at the very best, a Hall of Fame level middle linebacker, and then of course at least reliable tough safety. They have 2 of the 3, right? What they do not have and have not had since, frankly, maybe Akeem Hicks or Tommy Harris before his back went out, is that disruptive, consistent defensive tackle. They have an opportunity to fix that, and Caden McDonald is sitting right there.
Yep.
He fits the need, he fits the system, and if you watch this tape, you saw him grow up almost in real time. He got bullied some early in the season, right? And I don't know if it was, I guess it's maybe technique got cleaned up. Maybe he actually got physically stronger. Maybe he was coming off a nagging injury earlier in the season that just wasn't reported. But he seemed to play stronger and stronger as the season went on. And he played his best games in that run in the playoffs. I saw him not get washed, which happened in the first couple of games of the season.
Okay.
I saw him use his hands better, use his hands more quickly. I saw him play with better pad level later in the season than early in the season.
Yeah.
If he continues on that trajectory, he has a chance to be a very, very good player.
Right. So we have the Buffalo Bills at 26. And the Bills have edge, wide receiver, safety, and linebacker identified as their needs. So I am really, I'm not really excited about him. I'm going to have to really think about this. And you know what? I'm going to go Akeem Medisor at edge.
Yeah. Mesidor, the main knock on Mesidor is that he's going to turn 25 years old before the season begins. But if you can get past his age, he is a powerful player with terrific technique.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch the 2 players, right, you have 3 on one side and 4 on the other when you watch Miami. The thing that you really notice is get off, right? Mesidor is maybe not quite as athletic in terms of flexibility and things like that as Bain, but his get off is spectacular. His get off is consistent. Sometimes he's beat. You'll watch 6-7 plays, and 5 of those plays he'll be beating Bain off the ball.
Yeah.
He's even more efficient and powerful with his hands than Bain is. And he's a slightly better. They're both good against the run, but I think he's slightly better against the run than Bain is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So depending on what you want in that position, there's things.
That's what I want in that position.
Right. There's things he actually is superior to Bain in a few areas. But yes, I'm a huge fan of his, and I would have loved to have had him in Pittsburgh, but whatever, water under the bridge. Let's keep going.
Trent Williams is 37 years of age. There's a left tackle sitting here who's a big, big boy who should actually end up being a right tackle in the NFL. However, because Trent Williams may not be around, Caden Proctor is going to be a San Francisco 49er.
Wait a minute. I thought that was my pick.
No. You just had Mesidor.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I did.
Man,
he's trying to double up. That's what he's trying to do.
He's trying to double up.
You know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. You know what happened? I saw 49ers, and I started thinking about Jed, and then I started thinking about some other business matters.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
So, hey,
Caden Proctor will be the 49ers.
Yeah. Great choice.
Yep.
He may end up like Tyler Guyton to begin with, but if he's coached properly, he can play left tackle. So there you have it.
But see, there was a part of me that wanted to send KC Concepcion to the Niners. And I know he got Mike Evans, but I just believe that
you need to protect your quarterback.
I'm not I'm not disputing that, but I believe that two things are most important in terms of QB protection uh, within scheme, and that's technique and play design. And so
Yep.
I can get a lot done just short, spread out, moving the pocket, one step, two step passes, shotgun formation. I'm not concerned about that. Scientifically, I think I can handle that. But when I get a guy like KC Conception, you're just standing there literally, and my first thought is, okay, Mr. Concepcion brings to the table basically a 4.43 40-yard dash. And I'm thinking I want that kind of speed because I'm not expecting Mike Evans to, bring that kind of speed at this place in his knife. I want somebody that helps stretch the defense, puts a little fear, takes some pressure off Evans, and gets us some completion. So there you go. That's my thought. But hey, you're in control. So there you go.
Yep. I mean, I think Ricky Pearsall is going to be the guy that lines up a lot at Z and somebody's in the slot, and he's a 4.39 guy, so he's probably going to be the guy to be thought of as a speed player.
Yeah.
I just see Ricky Pearsall as more like your control pass guy, your drive pattern guy.
I mean, he can do that too, but he's really fast. I mean, he's really fast.
You mean deceptively fast?
Not deceptively. He's
No,
4.3. Nothing deceptive about running 4.39. You're just fast. If you run 4.39,
if you watch him, if you watched him at the University of Florida, this guy was fast.
Yeah, I admittedly have to watch it because I've never been a Ricky Pearsall fan. I just, he just hasn't done that for me in terms of his play. So I'm not against him. All right. I just feel like the 49ers need more talent.
Sure.
To really,
sure. And that's not a bad argument, but the wide receiver group is much deeper than the offensive tackle group. So you still have shots you can take at wide receiver of guys who will contribute. The tackles, once you get done with the group we just talked about,
you're done.
They're rotational depth guys who will probably.
I see what you're saying. You're not talking about you weren't saying the 49ers wide receiver position was that deep, right?
What I'm saying is that
you'll
have more chances in this draft to find wide receivers who can contribute than tackles who will you be comfortable putting out there, is what I'm letting you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. All right. So we have Caden Proctor and next, I believe that's you, Bill.
It is. Yep. This is an interesting situation. And you don't always have to draft for need, right? This is what I remind people. You don't have to. Don't go shopping when you're hungry, right? Because you may not make
CJ Allen. Send them CJ Allen.
I like CJ Allen a lot, but frankly, CJ Allen is a player that, I mean, I hate to do the thing about value, but he's a player who frankly should be available later. There are players on this board who shouldn't still be available.
Send them
so
KC
when you have a chance to get players who should not still be available, when there's another player who maybe should still be available, you take the guy who should not be available.
No, the Houston Texans are fine at wide receiver because they got the 3 Iowa State receivers already. They're already there.
Yeah, they're fine at wide receiver. Yep. And Concepcion is primarily, well, you can use him in different places. He's primarily a slot, and I think they're fine there.
That's right.
So basically, what you guys are both telling me is that their offensive coordinator sucks. Gotcha.
Well,
no. Their offensive line sucked last year.
There we go.
And that was primarily, well, I mean that goes to coaching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that the player who stands out to me as the player who should probably not still be available is Blake Miller.
Bingo.
The thing about Blake Miller is he can play right and left, and has played right and left tackle already.
Exactly so right.
I'm not having to wonder. I'm not having to speculate. I can watch several games of him playing against a high-level competition, playing on the right side and on the left side. That means worst case scenario, I'm getting a guy who's going to be a swing tackle who can spell both my right and left tackle. But I think he's going to win one of those jobs. And I don't have to know which yet, right? That's what training camp is going to help me to figure out. But either way, I'm upgrading my offensive line immediately because he's going to see the field immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's my question. They just had, all right, I'm reading here because I was thinking, wait a minute, didn't they have rookie tackle Ariante Irsi? And so then they already have Trent Brown, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not
So
trying to
this
be
guy
mean,
is
but
not going to be.
I'm not trying to be mean, but did you watch Trent Brown last year?
Yeah, but he's still Trent Brown. Okay.
I'm aware of who he is, but
He was Trent Brown until last year. And guess
that's
what?
kind of where I'm heading with this.
Age does hit these guys.
Are you going to trade him?
When it hits you, you're done.
Are you going to trade him?
No, you don't have to trade him. Like I want the best guys I can have on the team.
Do you think your guy's going to beat out Trent Brown?
Trent Brown struggled last year, Zennie. He struggled. So
okay, so I'm just asking a question. You believe this guy's going to beat out Trent Brown?
I think that he's going to compete against both of my current tackles, and he might well beat one of them. But worst case scenario, I've raised the level of the talent at one of the most important positions on the football field.
So you think that he's going to beat out your rookie tackle from last year?
Ariante Irsi?
I just think that's a wasted pick. I'm just being that's my opinion.
I don't think anytime you get better at tackle, it's ever wasted. But here's what I will say. I think Irsi is another guy who is a developmental player. Very talented. I got to know him a little bit at the Senior Bowl. And he himself talked about, like, I'll give him credit. Like, some guys don't have an accurate view. Some players don't have an accurate view of who they are. Irsi is a guy that had an accurate view of what he needed to work on. I think he will improve. I think he will get better.
Yeah, but I
would like to have the arrow pointed upward on both of my tackles.
But
right,
Bill,
so if
you're a rookie tackle in the NFL, you already are developmental.
If Irsi improves, right, that's a young player. I've got 3 more years where I even have to figure out what I would do with his rookie, with signing him, after that.
But Bill, what I'm saying is that it would make sense.
So what
if you had 2 older tackles and you say, hey, look, we're getting a little long at the tooth.
Well, I mean, one of them is older. I mean, you need 2.
Yeah, but the other
I would rather have 2 tackles where the arrow is pointing upward on their play, not one where it's pointed up and one where it's pointed down.
My friend, we agree to disagree.
That's exactly what we're going to do. I want 2 young, inexpensive players who are getting better this year and even better the year after that, rather than a guy who probably shouldn't be starting anymore, or if he is starting, this is his last year probably being a starter in the NFL.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see what they now. I really can't wait.
And again, there's also the injury factor that comes into play. And when you have offensive line injuries, your team suffers. Well, Blake Miller addresses that injury issue, whether it's Irsi or Trent Brown, who goes down, because he can play both positions.
Both sides, exactly.
I think you got C.J. Allen sitting there at linebacker. You have a strong linebacker group that needs to get stronger.
I like C.J. Allen just fine, but like the same logic you just used about why you thought it was a wasted pick, I could easily apply to C.J. Allen.
Yeah, let's do that though. Here's why I don't think.
I'm just saying, is he gonna tell me which guy he beats out right away?
It's the point. The place that he beats out isn't so much beat out as strengthened. Okay, and my point is that
the logic I just used with offensive tackle.
No, I'm not done. I want to play a 5 linebacker defense. Okay, I believe that getting their biggest strength, and I haven't seen them do that. Okay, on the field at once, CJ gives us opportunity to do that. All right. I am obsessed with the idea that the Texans can build one of the most powerful defenses ever seen in the league. They did it last year, but I think they can do it even more this year.
But there's still lots of other guys available in this draft where
you can get later.
That's right. But again,
to bring back what we just said, this is a terrific linebacker group. There are a lot of good linebackers. It is
Josiah Trotter is available.
It is a thinner offensive tackle class, Zennie. This is not a great offensive tackle.
Do I have to play the Britney Spears song more, give me more?
You can play whatever you want. It doesn't change
the fact
song,
by the way,
that there's more good linebackers that'll be left in the 2nd and 3rd and 4th round. While we're almost done with the tackles who are likely to be starters. We're almost done. There's only maybe 2 left that are probably projected to be starters of the whole tackle class.
More. Just
So
saying.
go ahead, Mr. Zennie, and give us the Kansas City Chiefs.
Here we go.
You got it. By all means, Kansas City Chiefs. And that actually comes to me. And so the Chiefs are in a fascinating position of, arguably, this is where one can say, hey, they need somebody on the line to really further strengthen their defense. And I'm really one to say that the Chiefs' biggest problem was on defense. As much as Andy Reid loves to get that speed wide receiver, I don't think Casey Concepcion is it. He ain't that fast compared to what they've got. But here is where I believe, I really believe that. Well, let me see something here. If I take defense, I'm going to say, okay, what am I looking at there? Nope. You know what? I'm going to do it because I've seen Christian Miller play. Christian Miller. I really believe that for the Chiefs' specific needs, he's more of a need than Allen, because the Chiefs need a person up front that can really help strengthen that interior, because they got blown off the ball a little bit more than I was comfortable with last year. A large part of that's technique. They don't play a bare look as often as I would. In fact, I can't remember the one time I do remember. There was one time they did play a bare look, and they didn't stay in it. So, and that could have been also due to injuries and availability at the time. But at any rate, I like our chances with Christian Miller, defensive tackle. Now, Dolphins next. Oh, good.
Dolphins.
They're all. Who's next? You are.
I am.
That'll be Greg. Yep.
Yeah, you are. And on the Dolphins, we have who? Greg?
Oh, let's go to the cornerback room, the Tennessee Volunteers, Colton Hood.
Colton. Got it. Okay.
The other corner, but he was the one that actually played.
Yes, he
this
played.
past season.
I could not use my Kyler Gordon line the other guy who was always under attack. And
right.
Because Trent McDuffie was never under attack at Washington Huskies. They just didn't go after Trent McDuffie. They always went after Kyler Gordon. And I said Kyler Gordon was my other guy. That was the bottom line.
Yep.
All right. So, Bill, you have the Patriots at number 31.
So this is another situation where it almost like New England fans will be ecstatic if it actually works out this way, because they get a player who actually plays very similarly, but is younger and cheaper to the player they just moved on from due to off the field and other stuff. But when you move on from a guy like Stephon Diggs, you need to address that, and they will. Mr. Kevin Concepcion, a.k.a. Casey, is a player that gives you that dynamic after the catch. He is a player that has the ability to break arm tackles. Even though he's not the biggest cat in the world, he's got a strong lower body. And
nice choice.
While he's not blazing fast, he has a really good second gear, right? So on those wide receiver screens where you get a block or someone takes the wrong angle, he turns what could be 3 or 4 yard plays into 12, 13 yard plays on a regular basis.
Bingo. Yep.
And hey, wait a minute. Do I get the Seahawks?
You get the final pick of
last
this
and final pick, yes.
mock
Oh
draft.
my goodness.
And now remember what the Seahawks have lost.
Right.
Just remember what the Seahawks have lost this offseason.
Yes. Right.
Yes. Look at that. A gift. Remember that. We're the champions.
There's my Cowboys mug.
Yeah, but this is current, my friend.
Hey, I've been alive for all 8 Super Bowls that the Cowboys have played in. I've watched the 3 losses. I've won 5 of them. I'm happy.
No, I'm not sure it's because I'm a Seahawks fan. This is actually a gift from a friend of mine who is for the job I did in organizing my classmates for our 46th reunion from a distance. So I'm very proud of that. Yeah, it was very nice of them. So, at any rate, it means I have to do a good job this time. I have to pick somebody that's really like, freaking good. So anyway, the pressure is on. All right. The Seahawks, they lost their running back, but I don't see anybody here. Let me go down a little bit because I don't want to be caught with.
No, the next running back is
Way down. Yeah.
Is Jadarian Price from the University of Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know if I want to pick him there.
No.
Yeah. And so
they also lost Boye Mafe, a very good edge player.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some holes now. The Super Bowl champs have some holes.
They lost Tariq, now going by Reek Woolen. They lost a lot of pieces.
Yep.
TJ Parker, edge. There you go.
Well,
So hey, not an exciting pick, but effective. I think that he will do an outstanding job for the Seahawks.
Yep.
Should that actually occur? And folks, I remind everybody here that it's always fun to see who lasts. We argue about the players, but if you look back, a lot of these players didn't turn out the way any of us predicted. I mean, the sad linchpin example of what I'm talking about is was back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and a defensive end that they drafted. I believe this is in 2008. But Matt Ryan came out. I have them on my video. He died.
Yep.
He died.
Yep.
So you don't know how this is going to come out at all. It's all fun to argue and guess, and everything else. But I remind everybody watching that at the end of the day, you really don't know. You take everything's a best guess. I mean, people get into the league. Things happen. Bad girlfriends, jealous parents, bad limo drivers. No limo driver. So I mean, but it's good nonetheless to talk about this because the draft is, and I don't think anybody will disagree with me with what I'm about to say, enormous business.
Oh, it is huge. It is a very big business.
Did any one of you believe the draft would morph into what it's become like 10 years ago or 20 years ago?
Well, so first time I wrote anything about the draft was 1982. And, even my friends who were fairly serious football fans only kind of paid attention to the draft at the time. So I've gotten to watching close to real time. I was a person that was really into like the Marasco brothers and Palmer Hughes and Jerry Jones, the drugstore list Jerry Jones.
Yes, not JJ kids. No, it's not
the Marymount, Ohio.
Yes.
Pharmacy owner / draft analyst, and but my top of the guy that was sort of my sort of hero was the late great Joel Buchsbaum. And outside of NFL cities, you would have the draft discussed in the newspaper not that differently from the way the transactions in like baseball, where somebody got released or picked up or,
Yeah.
So it wasn't until now, partially what changed it was televising it, right? Once you put something on television in America, that makes it important. So that was one big step when the ESPN famously, approached the NFL about televising, and they were like, what? The NFL was quite skeptical. And each year it got bigger and bigger and bigger. That was one thing that changed it. But the other thing is the year that I was writing about, the 82-83 season, we had one of the great drafts in the history of drafts, the 83 draft, which had obviously all the great quarterbacks, but also Eric Dickerson. I mean, it had great players all throughout it. a bunch of Hall of Famers in that draft class. I think that also helped, that people began to pay attention and you began to assign the value to it that it probably deserved all along, but people began to see like this can change the fortunes of your franchise for the next 10, 15 years. You know, the USFL was of course still in operation, but once those guys came back from the USFL, once you got Jim Kelly back, and of course, you know, Dan Marino always in the NFL, and you know, we had this perception now, and that was also as the whole NFL driven league narrative was also just starting. And so when you combine these three elements, now it's on television. Now people are now learning about these players on a deeper level because we have television and eventually social media involved in draft coverage. And then the last piece is the obsession with quarterbacks. Now that we can see them, right? We can see them not just when they're playing, but now we get to see them eventually at the combine and at the Senior Bowl. And so now we're seeing the whole continuum, the whole arc of them making what's now called the pre-draft process, a term that I think I first heard sometime in the late 1980s. Before it was just, you know, you would show up guys would show up at your pro day, or you would be invited to the combine, which is mostly about medicals for the first 15, 16 years. And then when it began to be televised, like the draft being televised, now people got interested in 40 times, bench, 3-code, all this stuff. And people would have sort of little like rivalry things with their friends about, oh, I think my guy's going to run the best 40 and all this kind of stuff. So now you have an interest in something that the NFL itself thought nobody would be interested in at first, at least. And now, you know, the combine draws steady, strong. When you add streaming to, you know, traditional viewing, draws strong numbers. The draft is a big time event. And, you know, now we have, you know better than most, they've added ancillary events to the draft. You have the red carpet. You have the draft experience where you and your family member and friends get to do a 3-cone and, you know, go test your vertical and all this other stuff. So I didn't see it coming until it was televised. Once the draft was televised, I was like, okay, it's coming. Right? At that point, I knew because you could see the numbers, right? And each year the numbers went up.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the one thing that every time I think about the draft, I think about this, and I think when I play it, it'll make sense. This was from the first, so in 2006 NFL draft, signing off. Well, you'll see. It's right here. What I have to change the audio real quick so that I don't get caught. Thank you. So I don't get caught with a replay you can't hear. Excuse me for a second. All right. And now I believe we're ready. Oh, okay. 11 Borrow host is in the stream with audio only. Bill, did you leave? Bill? Or did I do something accidentally to lose him?
I think he popped off for a second.
Okay. Maybe I should.
There he is.
Okay, sorry, but you okay, Bill?
I was here a second. My fiance.
Oh, right on. Cool. Okay. All right. So here we go.
Signing off from the 2006 NFL Draft.
Give me your
See you all next year. It was short and sweet on day 2.
Folks, that's the first time a YouTube channel ever covered the NFL Draft. This one. And I miss Bill. The other Bill. Actually, I miss you too, Bill, that you're here.
Everybody's leaving. It's amazing to see this compared to how many people that were here, huh? Yeah. Is that working?
We enjoyed this kind of theme
Are you still waiting
from
for
2006 to 2015.
Yeah.
2014.
Best draft.
There's Pat Kerwin over there.
I thought Houston should have taken Reggie Bush, but the rest of it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I agree. What about the 49ers and
I like Detroit's draft.
Detroit was good, yeah.
Kind of strangely, it worked out very nicely.
Yeah.
And I do like the Jets because I think getting Nick Mangold,
That was, yeah, I agree.
that
Yeah.
sets them up with him in the tackle. They're set up for a long time.
Yeah, I quite agree.
And the quarterback, I know, one quarterback coach told me, they worked out every guy in this draft. The guy, if you combine velocity on a ball and mechanics of throwing, he was his number one guy. So they got a shot.
Yeah,
They got a shot. And you know, the cap works, the salary cap works better if your quarterback's not a first round.
Yeah, that's true, definitely. Hey, I said the 49ers had the best draft, I thought. Yeah, the 49ers. Yeah. So you say Manny Lawson's worth as much as Williams? Yeah, okay.
Anything else?
Hey, John, real quick, who had the best draft?
I really like what the Eagles did.
Yeah.
From a talent perspective. They did. I also like what Denver did in terms of getting a long-range quarterback and trading for improving the receiver for this year.
Cool. Yeah.
Arizona, just from a talent base. You can argue with those three.
No, not at all. They'll be kicking us out here. Look at this.
Yep. Loading up quick.
And that was it. And so that was, and I think that Mel Kiper looked down. I think he realized, hey, I'm on camera. But we have a lot of great stuff in it. That's almost exactly 20 years ago. Almost exactly 20y years ago.
When it was still a world of music hall and all you heard was nonsense over and over again. They just no Boy, the NFL had more sucker, and they found the top lies and did so.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about this, Bill? I mean, Bill Chakas was, I think, the closest thing we got to Joe Bushball.
Bill was great. Steve Martin was really good.
Your echo, Zennie.
Oh, sorry about that. You're right. Thank you for that, Greg. You're right.
There we go.
Hold on a second. I haven't hit it yet. Now I got it. Go ahead.
There you are.
Yeah.
Now,
sorry.
Mr. Bill.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah. I mean, he was really Steve Martin, the guy that sort of brought me to the party, was really, really, really good. He just moved on into other endeavors, but he was terrific. Hub Arkush, for those of us, here and Dan Shanka were guys I got to know fairly well in the Chicagoland area, were also very, very good. And I think the biggest thing that's changed is that Mel Kiper made it a personality thing, right? Not just that what you know and how much you know, because Joe Buxbaum was nobody could touch him in terms of just pure knowledge, deep knowledge of seemingly every single player in the country. You could literally bring up like the punter at Delta State, and he would have a conversation with you about the punter at Delta State and his touch-to-toe time. And no offense to Mel Kiper, but Mel Kiper couldn't do that. So that was the guy that I always had at the top of my personal Mount Rushmore of draft analysts. But I've talked to Pat Kerwin, even gotten like a mini debate with Pat Kerwin about a player who actually ended up having an NFL career of about 6 seasons, though had to change positions. A guy named Spencer Havner from UCLA, who I was fairly high on, made my all underappreciated team. And he said he can't run. I was like, what do you mean he can't run? He ran 4.72, which isn't blazing fast, but it's not bad for a linebacker. He ended up actually switching positions and being on a Super Bowl team when the Seahawks made it to the Super Bowl. But he had changed positions by that point. He was playing like H-back, little fullback, tight end kind of thing. And they've been devastated by injury at that position, which is why Spencer was playing. But shout out to Spencer Havner, wherever you are now and whatever you're doing. But the thing about the draft is that it's where you have some things that are objective, but a lot of things that are subjective, all crashing into each other. And that's why, and some people don't care about the combine, but the combine gives you something that's objective, right? So much of this is subjective, but at least you say this person is this tall, they weigh this much, their arms are this long, their feet, they're everything. These are objective measurements. The vertical, all that stuff is objective. You have things that can be quantified and measured and then compared historically for decades. So you can see what has been the historic trend for players who have this vertical, weigh this much, whatever it is at certain positions. And it helps you to put up, thresholds, guardrails, whatever. And then you have all the subjectives, which is, the how much you like a player and why you like them. Very often it's things that aren't quantifiable. And when people talk about intangibles, it's weird. I hear people describe tangible things as intangible. It's like his intangibles, they talk about arm strength. Like, that's not an intangible. But when you actually look at a player's intangibles, things that aren't measured, and you look at just your emotional reaction to a player, people literally say, I love this player, or I like this player. It's because they're having an actual emotional reaction. And I try to be able to separate whenever possible a player's actual measurable effectiveness from my emotional reaction to the player. Because I think if you get too sucked in, Jonathan Paul Manziel is a great example. People had a really strong emotional reaction to that player that clouded their ability to see his actual strengths and weaknesses as a prospect. And a lot of those things were intangible. He had some really scary intangible stuff off the field that anybody who picked up a phone and asked anybody around the NFL or even going around the Texas A&M program could have known fairly easily. These things were not secret or well kept or anything like that. If you asked a handful of people around the program, you'd have known that he was, a guy with some troubles, a guy who had used to sort of getting away with things he was not going to get away with at the next level.
And now we're at the point where we understand. I watched 515 guys for summer scouting this year, Zennie. 515 guys. There's one guy who's also a Canadian player who also plays defensive line, who plays at the University of Louisville, Renee Conga, who is being undervalued up the wazoo, except when you speak to NFL teams. So guess what? Renee Conga, he will be drafted a lot earlier than people think.
Renee Conga. Yeah. You guys talk about Johnny Manziel and you talk about Shedeur Sanders. I want to play for you a video from 2014 in our vault here that I think is worth seeing for obvious reasons. Yes, it's Johnny Manziel. And I thank you.
You feel, young man?
Feel great. Appreciate that.
What do they say on the phone to you?
I don't think there's any need for that. I felt going into this that everything would work itself out, and I was a true believer in that. So obviously there were some spots that I thought I might end up, but when it didn't happen, there was no list or no bitterness or grudge or anything there about that.
What do they say to you on the phone when you answered?
It was great. I heard from Mr. Farmer first, and he said, "Let's do this." And I was very, very happy to hear those words and to get that call. It was really a weight lifted off my shoulders, and really, it's a dream come true to be a first-round NFL draft pick and to be playing professional football is incredible.
Teddy, what do you know about the offense of the Browns and the playmakers that you play with?
You look at a great tackle, a great tight end, a great receiver, and that made some moves in free agency to win now and be aggressive. And for me, you look at Coach Shanahan, look what he did with RG3 in the first year. That was a very successful guy who has mobility, and I feel like they've done a great job and really trying to win now, and an offense that sitting down with Coach.
It's long. I don't want to play the whole thing. I respect for you guys' time, but I show that because there's all this talk about quarterbacks, like even him. Oh, he does this and he does this, but this young man, for all of the talk about him, presented himself exceptionally well. I was very proud of him on that day. He didn't come off at all like he was being painted, and that's why I think it's a great idea to do what you guys do, is to meet these gentlemen as often as possible and give them a fair shake in terms of who they are, because there's too much caricature. You know what I mean?
But
if you also talk to teammates,
you
talk
talk
to
to
Hit your
you
Yep,
start to
thank you.
understand there's other sides to Jonathan Paul Menzel. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which are things that we pointed out on the year he was drafted. Should he have been a first-round quarterback in the NFL? There was question marks, but those question marks were because of his off-the-field behavior.
Yep.
Right.
And off-the-field behavior, you know where you get your information from? You don't get your information from a coach, a position coach. You get it from the trainers and the equipment managers. Those are the guys that deal with these guys every single day. And the equipment manager with Johnny Manziel did not like Johnny Manziel. The trainer did not like Johnny Manziel. Those are the people who you get your information from. And take that from Brian Broaddus, who also did one of the best NFL drafts of all time, basically on his own for the Philadelphia Eagles in 1998. You go back and look at that draft, the 98 draft, the Eagles draft was very successful. He also was with Ron Wolf in Green Bay, and then he was with the Cowboys, and he got fired by Parcells because he argued with an NFL coach about the talent of college players, the thing that he was actually paid to do. But again, this whole the whole realm of this goes into play with the Randy Mosses, who was not taken by Philadelphia or Dallas. Both of those teams, it was the ownership that said no to both.
Yep.
Both those teams said no because his off-the-field behavior. Okay, what did Randy Moss do on Thanksgiving Day? He lit up the Cowboys. I mean,
Right.
lit them up.
Yep.
Right?
And I loved
And
every
again-
second of it.
Well, yeah, exactly. But then you also had the fact that Michael Irvin ends up getting injured that year because Randy Moss was not out in the field. Michael Irvin would never have been in the position he was in against the Philadelphia Eagles had Randy Moss been on the field at the same time. Period.
Right.
So there's a guy's career ends. And that's things that people don't understand about the NFL draft. One player, especially in a first round. Taco Charlton was loved by Rod Marinelli, and there's T.J. Watt sitting right there. Right there. T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt, his big brother was down in Houston. You want a rivalry? You get T.J. Watt lining up against J.J. Watt.
Well, not lining up against them, but you mean like.
Yeah, but in a Dallas
Opposing
versus
teams,
game.
Right.
Where people don't understand how deep football runs in the state of Texas. I mean, that's something that I found out. My aunt loved the TCU Horned Frogs. That was her team, TCU. You mentioned Texas, oh Lord, you were going to get a whooping. Like in Texas A&M, you were a dog meat. Baylor, no. SMU, not a chance. I mean, that's how deep football goes in Texas, right? But could you imagine T.J. Watt and J.J. Watt lining up against each other?
You okay? Okay.
I mean, that would have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
But of course, we didn't have that.
Well,
Yeah,
gentlemen, Bill,
yeah.
you said something that I think is a great idea about having more videos that are retrospective, because this is the first time, I'll just say this candidly, the NFL has decided, well, we've evaluated our media and therefore haven't been credentialed yet. I don't know what's going to happen with the draft. But it also happens as I am about 50% done with D. Orlando Ledbetter's website. And so I should finish it by tonight because I have the basics out of the way. And I'm inviting NFL writers to come on for Zennie62 because we have a place for them to write. And I'm thinking that could help us get funding as well. But for the league to try to shut out my brand, I think, is something that is I'm possibly going to have to take up another way that involves people in black robes.
Yep.
Because that potentially is $1 million, several $1 million of potential damage potential right there, and that's wrong.
No, it is. It is. And you know, when we do Draft Central, when we end our season, after the draft is over, do you know what our last show is? It's where we look back 3 years prior, because it takes 3 years to understand an NFL draft, how those players worked out for that team. So again, this year we'll go back to 2023.
Yep.
Right? That's how we end our season on draft. We look back at those drafts. This draft, you will not understand the quality of this draft until 2029. You will not understand the quality that's in this draft.
Yep.
And people are going to be stunned in 3 years' time when we say this 6th round pick was somebody who should have been taken much higher, because of the impact that they had on the game of football. That's why the NFL draft is so much fun.
Yep. So with that, gentlemen, when is our next one of these going to be?
I mean, I'm good for next week. Tuesday.
I'm good for Tuesday. I'm good for Wednesday. If anybody else
Well,
wants.
Wednesday is not good for me. I can do Tuesday or I can do Thursday.
I'm going to do a solo
Yeah,
one, get in the swing of things. I may even do one later tonight.
Wednesday we're on with Draft Central at 7:30. So Bill and I are always. And this week we're going to teach people how to build an NFL board.
Yep.
The draft board. So that's something to pay attention to, because guess what? Yes, I scouted 515 players. NFL teams may have 120 to 150 players on their board, period.
Right.
Hey, bring that to Zennie62, or do I have to buy out your company too?
Well, you'd have to buy out Team MBS Media.
Well, how much is it?
I don't know.
Make a deal right here. You have stock? What's the
Oh
structure?
no.
There's no corporate structure?
Oh yeah, Joe Cardozo has the ownership of Team MBS Media. So,
Is
but
it an LLC?
again,
Is it what is it?
I don't know what he has. I really don't.
If he has nothing, then, hey, I'll make a proposal.
Well,
Stop going to
What
sleep.
happened-
Bill, wake up. You're
But
second
again-
in
I'm
command.
just waiting for us
You're
to.
second in
wrap
command. You
this
got to
up.
pay attention to this stuff.
I've heard everything. I mean,
yeah.
like I said, if you want to talk to Joe, I can do what I can to facilitate that.
Yeah. Deal making. You got to love it.
Yeah, but again, this NFL draft, there are going to be players who are undrafted free agents, like every other team has every year as well, who will be successful in the NFL.
Yep.
So again, just because you don't hear a guy's name on the draft show doesn't mean that player will not make an NFL roster. It happens every single year. Tony Romo, undrafted free agent, boom, pretty successful, I'd say, right?
Right. And by the same token, a guy who gets drafted fairly early. I was just watching a UFL game that had Taco Charlton, Sean Wade, Denzel Mims. I mean, there's a good number of players who may go in the top 100 picks who a couple years later will be playing in the UFL or playing in the CFL. So it works in both directions.
Gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right. Thank you all. But we're ending this stream, but folks, don't move a muscle. All right. Thank you, everybody. And please share this around and subscribe to Zennie62 on YouTube and bookmark. Hey, wait a minute, Jared. He says, today is my birthday. Can I get it? Yes. Happy birthday, Jaron. Happy birthday.
Yes. Many happy returns.
Yeah. Or Stevie Wonder would say, happy birthday
Birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. There you go. Happy birthday, my friend. And thank you for watching. And thank you, everybody. You're welcome. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. All right.
Have a great rest of your birthday. Yes.